Back on the 11th, PC Gamer published a real doozy of an article. Model-swapped Metal Gear Solid 5 is disturbing, thought-provoking. Something about replacing quiet with Revolver Ocelot shaking up our ingrained cultural misogyny. Bitch pissed moan, yada yada. You know, games journalism. But that's pretty much what's expected. There's no point in me going over the article, you can just go look at it yourself, I'll put a link in the description. It really is just a bite-sized piece of more of the same. What's interesting to me is the comment section, or at least the featured comment. James Davenport, a moderator, says, "Commenters wondering why your arguments are disappearing. Well, they're not arguments. If you want to take issue with something mentioned in the article, feel free to initiate a discussion about it in a cool, collected manner. Any outright attacks will disappear. For those wondering why misogyny was mentioned at all, well, it's a thing. Metal Gear Solid is media, and media will be criticized. This won't make Metal Gear disappear. It won't kill you. It won't render your grand entertainments meaningless. Criticism is just a way for us to attempt to evolve the form, and since the content is often a hazy reflection of our culture, it's an attempt to evolve our culture as well. It's all about being better. If you're not into that and you choose to be personally threatened by even the word misogyny, then we don't want to hear what you think about it." A culture shaped by PC Gamer. Holy Jesus fuck no. If what you've done with your life is become a games journalist, I do not trust you to fetch me a pair of matching socks, let alone provide any kind of worthwhile diagnosis or treatment for our culture's alleged ailments. I can't speak for anyone else, but I think this post epitomizes the attitude that's been pissing me off for the past year. It's about being better. If you're not into that, you disgusting degenerate, we don't want to hear what you have to say. Come back once you join our righteous path. They really shouldn't be deleting attacks or mockery, because that's exactly what all of these fuckers need. They've gotten their hands on a platform and seen fit to appoint themselves as great teachers, those who must be kept free of rude comments, because media will be criticized. By them in particular, mind you. Yeah, what they write is media too, but they're not being hypocritical. They're not actually saying that they can't be criticized but other media can be. They're just saying, you don't have the authority to do so. Not really. They will condone your comments if written politely, but it's obviously a great burden to them tolerating your opposition to the betterment of society. And yeah, people will say they've got commenting rules so you can't be too rude. And you know, if you disagree with the moderation, it's still their website, they can decide what they remove or whatever. And anyone saying that would technically be correct, they can do that, and I don't think they should be stopped from doing it. But the reason this pisses me off is we've got some guy dismissing what people have to say on the grounds that media will be criticized to evolve the form and evolve society, painting this as some noble pursuit that must be taken up by brave souls, and so your objection to their perspective doesn't count. The defense presented for the style of criticism in the main article doesn't apply to yours, because if you don't like this particular word, or you say one of the handful of particular words I don't like, you're gone. It is just so fake, and the way they do it is so disrespectful to their audience. If any of these people believe these things and aren't just saying them to apply them to themselves and the people they want them to be applied to and deny them to others, there should not be such regulation in the comments. If objecting to the use of a word renders your criticism invalid, why are you so comfortable with wiping away critics for having used insults? It is all bullshit. These guys just say anything they can to make themselves seem superior, but do not really believe it. And based on what I've been reading, I do not believe that they have just been removing attacks, or at least what a normal person would call an attack. But maybe that's just the result of a combination of their attitude and the lack of trust I have as a result of, well, no one caring to build it up. You constantly hear the argument that a game or other media doesn't exist in a bubble, and yet for some reason outlets are unwilling to look at themselves the same way. I'm not trying to say that they need to let anyone say whatever they want about what's written, or for that matter, who's written it. I'm just saying that, if they don't, and claim to be all for people wading in and challenging culture, then they, and I don't just mean these guys, games journalism is rife with this attitude, need to admit that everything they are doing is pretend, as much of an insincere, calculated product as they might say any of the games they dislike are. While they might sneer at how a gamer indulges in a tacky power fantasy, the preaching they publish is theirs. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.